Yo, what's up? What's up? It's the Hungry Millennial back again with yet another podcast. I want to talk to you guys on this proactive pragmatism about the blueprint. This blueprint was laid by past generations, and they built a great foundation. They built outstanding houses. They showed us how to be successful. And, I think it's upon us as, the new generation, the generations that are alive and well, to start remodeling, start remodeling our surroundings. We want to start remodeling our jobs, how we look at work. We want to remodel our mindset. We want to remodel our finances. And we want to remodel our circle of influences. Because now we have no excuse not to be great. We have all this technology at our fingers, and we want to look at the quick click links, right? But if you're going to look at those links, look at something positive that's going to shape how you think about things and make your life a more valuable life to you. Because at the end of the day, you have you, and there are people that are depending on you in your life to be great. The chances of you being born were like 1 in a trillion. Like, it just wasn't supposed to happen. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we going to do with that energy? So when it comes to your job, if you're working a job that you don't like, start making a plan to transition into something else. But don't just quit. Be respectful. Don't burn the bridge, because you might need that opportunity later, right? So one thing that, that I messed up on, as in my younger years, right out of high school, and even in high school, at times I would burn bridges and then be out embarrassed. And, as Americans, we have this massive ego where we're afraid to embrace failure, that we want to look great for everyone else. But if you don't burn those bridges, a lot of those doors and those opportunities you may be able to come back to. So let's stop burning those bridges when we quit a job. Let's be respectful, right? And before we decide that we're going to quit a job or move on to something else, let's make sure we do our research at the next company. You save yourself a lot of time, a lot of agony by doing a thorough research on the next step in your journey, right? But if we don't do our research, we can't be upset if we get another set of a bag of bad apples, because you threw a rotten apple into a bag that looked like it was good, but all those apples were painted, right? So we want to be realistic about our job opportunities. And a lot of times you look into internships. Maybe you look into things that are unpaid. Maybe you look into those things because they can produce a far greater income later, right? So before you quit your job, ask yourself, what are you doing with the hours that you have outside of your 9 to 5? Maybe you start learning how to make wax candles. Maybe you start learning how to graphic design. There are amazing master classes online. This is a part of the blueprint. Next, we want to remodel our mindset. Start thinking about the positive things. Rewiring our neurotransmitters inside of our minds, to think at a positive level. How can I get through the day without allowing negativity to bring me down, to take me into places I don't even want to be? Ask yourself, what are you frustrated about? Are you frustrated about looking embarrassed in front of people that you don't even like? That's a horrible situation there already. And trying to impress people that you don't necessarily even care about and that don't really care about you. Remodel your mindset. You don't have to be everyone's friend. I advise to be polite, be respectful. But a lot of things that come along and that arise, a lot of things people say, they don't deserve a reaction, a comment, or even any type of entertainment of what they just said. Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope you have a better day. And then I leave it at that. Because if we start letting everybody ruin our mindset and how we think about things, we engage in stinking thinking. And then that stinking thinking engages, it takes over us. And not everything we're looking at a slight. And here's the crazy part is, the science shows that if we don't remodel a bad day and look at it as just a bad moment, that can create bad years in our life, because at every corner we're looking for somebody to slight us. And that's not real life. Real life is about trusting people, about figuring out who you can trust. Not everybody deserves to be in your circle. And you don't deserve to be in everybody's financial conversations. So this is, remodel your finances. Let's do our research about stocks and bonds and Bitcoin and all of these things, and ask yourself, did I actually come up with a budget? Do I know where my money's actually going? And can I reroute that money to where, like, I don't necessarily want to think stocks right now, but I want to think, okay, what can I put my money into that's going to add value into my life? Eventually, I'm releasing a review with my boy Sean Hudson, and we're going to be talking about the millionaire mind and tips and tricks and things that we've learned out of there, and hopefully we can get to a place where we ourselves can become millionaires off of our 401k investments and all of those stocks and those things. So this is going to be a really important series, because we're looking for feedback from the audience, because we can't know everything about finance. So be open to growing about finances. Be open to looking at your finances and be like, dang, that was a dumb decision. I need to sell that. Because I find that I've made horrible purchasing decisions. And sometimes it's better to just get rid of the thing, even at a lower cost, lower than what you paid for it, right? Just to get it out of your face, to let that stress go. Let it go. Financially, let it go. Stop trying to impress people you don't like. You don't need the new shirt. You don't need the new shoes. You don't need the new jacket. You're doing completely fine. Like, we live in one of the richest countries in the world. Like, even when you're in poverty, compared to a lot of countries, you're doing okay. But start with a plan. Start with the budget. Start reading up on Dave Ramsey. That dude's super smart. A lot of people don't like his, the way he goes about things. But once I started to embrace the world of Dave, the world of Tommy started to change. The world of the hungry millennial started to change. I started figuring out where I could add value to the lives of others and keep my expenses low. So next, you want to, remodel your circle of influence. Think about, the closest people that you hold close to you. Would you add them to your board of representatives? In my mind, I have individuals who have achieved greatness that are on my board of representatives. And, these are people that I would mentally seek counsel from, like, what would Denzel do? What would he say? How would he interact with these people? It's like, how would, just Dave Ramsey look at finance, right? Would Dave make that decision, right? Start in your mentally start creating a board of directors, right? People that you look up to in high regards, and you don't have to, they don't have to be perfect people, but people with perfect principles. Maybe the principles, they tie you to something greater. And then that means you start looking at your real life circle of friends and like, I don't even like these people. Right. Respectfully, of course, right? Because we want to treat everybody with kindness. However, there are people in your life that are holding you back. We have to let that go. And so when looking at the blueprint, we've got to start to look at our foundation. This foundation is built up of the job, the mindset, the finances, in your circle of influence. Start making those remodeling edits. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Proactive Pragmatism. If you have any questions or any feedback, you can reach us at PROPRAG20@gmail.com. That's proprag20@gmail.com. Thank you.